All right. We'd like to welcome everyone to another Mikey Live program. I am your host, Mikey Hutchinson, and we are coming to you live from the spy side of the Caribbean, that is Grenada. I think the entire Caribbean has an eye on St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are going to be heading over to St. Vincent and the Grenadines virtually to see what is taking place there. In fact, a great deal of our broadcast tonight will deal with what is taking place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Some residents there have been asked to evacuate with immediate effect. Grenada pledges to accommodate evacuees from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as we will be following some other developments there. We're also going to be talking about what's happening here in Grenada and how Grenada is going to be responding to the situation in St. Vincent and Grenadines. In fact, the Grenadian Prime Minister contacted the Vincentian Prime Minister to reiterate Grenada's support. Interesting. We'll talk about that as well. Folks, we're coming back in a moment. We got to let you know the headlines was brought to you through the kind compliments of the Real Value IGA supermarket. We are also brought to you through the kind compliments of Courts Grenada Limited. Your headlines brought to you through the kind compliments of Digicel, Nawasa, the Communal Cooperative Credit Union, the Ministry of Health. We want to say thank you to you guys as well. Folks, and those of you who have not yet done so, we'd like to encourage you to please go ahead and share the program, because when you do so, that's how other people get to know that we are live. So go ahead and share the business, and we will be back shortly.
Running low on groceries? Why not visit realvalueiga.com and experience our new online shopping platform? Place your order, then go out and enjoy your day to spend more time with friends and family. Delivery available within select locations or in-store pickup available. Sounds simple, right? It is. Stress less, live more with Real Value IGA online store, where good food begins.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
for your education,
for your financial freedom,
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, they easy.
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex, or give them a call, 440-1015 or 440-1016. Or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store now has amazing deals, special discounted prices on wedding sets, watches, and selected jewelry. We sell top brand jewelry and watches like Citizen at the best price. We offer the best deals and customer service on the island. Opening hours Mondays to Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store, located at the Esplanade Mall, St. George's, Grenada. Visit or call us today for 14-3114-232-1234 or WhatsApp 533-1581. Sale is on for a limited time only.
Feel good facts.
Avoid the most common causes of spreading the flu. Cover your coughs and sneezes with a tissue, dispose of it straight away, and either wash your hands or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Are you prepared for the hurricane season? Do you have a plan? Remember, water is essential in any emergency plan. Determine your family's water needs. Ensure your storage containers are food grade and store at minimum 35 gallons of water per person per day for at least 1 week. Understand that your planning may be different this year because of the need to protect yourself and others from COVID-19. Take the necessary actions to ensure that your household has an adequate stored water supply should there be an interruption. Be prepared. NOWASA, committed to meeting customers' needs.
All right, so welcome back, folks. So, of course, it is expected, of course, that we take a look at what's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have spoken to many of our colleagues there, and they are all busy. There are some who are currently involved in information gathering and dissemination, and in some other cases, persons are in the process of evacuation. Now, folks, let's put things in context right now. Today, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonzalez, made the announcement to the population there, to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that, hey, based on advice from the scientists, they are required to evacuate the areas, the immediate environs that are close to the volcano.
You may recall that at 1 o'clock, Professor Robertson had advised that the volcano had entered a heightened period of activity indicative of a fresh batch of magma either near or approaching the surface of the volcano. And the possibility for activity to move to an explosive phase has increased significantly. And he had further advised that given the current data, he was not able to say what the time scale would be. And his recommendation was that preparations be finalized for a possible evacuation within a few hours' notice. And he had advised it may be a couple of days. There was uncertainty. But since then, there has been further heightened activity. And he would explain what has occurred and what the advice he has given, the recommendation.
As the Prime Minister indicated, activity at Supre changed significantly early this morning with the onset of what we call tremor activity. And tremor at a volcano, you can think of it as simply that the volcano is shaking throughout the day. And you've had, I believe, 6 periods of tremor interspersed by about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. The significant thing that's changed since the last briefing, though, is that the last period of tremor was accompanied by periods of venting, gas venting, significant pulsing at the volcano, where it looks clearly like if it's, for want of a better word, looks like it's trying to clear its throat. So it indicates to us that we can have explosion, and at this point, we cannot say for sure and cannot give any further clear warning that nothing would happen within the next 24 to 48 hours. So therefore, when we brief the Prime Minister, was to say that there's no further warning we expect. And therefore, to guarantee safety of people, you need to take, it's best to take certain decisions. So right now, we would not be surprised, for example, if sometime between the next 24 to 48 hours, there are explosions from the volcano that are much more significant than we have seen so far. The pulsing is one thing, but explosions is different. So we seem to be clearly heading into something that might be explosive, and therefore we need to take necessary actions to safeguard life and limb.
Having received that report earlier, and Michelle Forbes also received that report. Michelle Forbes, the director of NEMO, tendered the advice to me relevant to the order I'm about to make. Acting on the advice of the director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, and pursuant to sections 33 and 40 of the National Emergency and Disaster Management Act, Chapter 88 of the Laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I hereby order as follows. 1. The evacuation of all premises in the areas designated as the red zone on the northeast and northwest of St. Vincent, and the evacuation of the area itself. So an evacuation of the premises in the red zone on the northeast and the northwest, and evacuation of the areas themselves. And 2, the exclusion of persons, vessels or vehicles from such premises and areas, save and except for the purpose of effecting the said evacuation. This order would be published tomorrow, but it has effect immediately.
All right, and that's Ralph Gonzalez, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, issuing that order. Now, we have on the ground in St. Vincent and the Grenadines our very own Mr. Sylvan McIntyre, who's now going to give us an update of the situation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
So what has been happening here over the last couple of hours on the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? The Prime Minister has just under an hour ago declared an evacuation order. This order indicates that persons in the red and orange zones as declared high-risk areas are asked or are required to start or commence the evacuation process. This is as a result of new development at the Soufriere volcano, where more tremors, ash to a lesser extent, and fumes has been seen from the volcano itself. The emergency management system is in full operation. There is activation of the National Emergency Operating Center, and all subcommittees have been summoned to function. From as early as after 6 this morning, when persons understood that there was some difference in the activity of the volcano, they started self-evacuating. I think the conditions experienced, there is no need to be extremely concerned. There is a safe evacuation process and plans that have been worked into, and that plan has kicked into play. The Prime Minister indicates support from the islands of the Caribbean, including Grenada, to host persons who will be evacuated from the danger areas. As the situation unfolds, the National Emergency Management Organization will be sending frequent releases advising members of the public and persons within the region as to the condition on ground. I wish to reassure everyone hearing this information that I am personally quite safe despite the conditions around with COVID-19, etc. All safety procedure and protocol has been observed, and we are endeavoring to deliver a safe evacuation of persons from the high-risk areas into the safer areas within the areas in and around Kingston.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sylvan McIntyre, for that update. And well, folks, it's kind of like a scene out of the movies where you find that people are rushing to get out of the danger areas. We were able to get some footage of persons evacuating today, and I mean, it's really interesting. And when you see the children and so on, it's heartbreaking, really, to see people having to run for their lives like that.
What's your shame? What's your shame? You're not power to? Power again. Right.
The most important to the people. There's a lady out there now in a wheelchair, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been brought here.
Yeah, they have all the transportation arrangements for those.
People to go and take the
Yeah. Yeah, they're posting transportation coming. I'm forced to reach on the wharf, you know. I on the wharf like that.
It's not about who force.
No, you're asking for me, I was right here. Cap!
Maybe you should let them on the line so that they need to come over because...
Yeah, I already did that. I did that whole night. That's why people coming. I did that whole night. I sent 2 trucks already. The 2 school buses are coming. Yep. Elvis, thanks for coming, man. All right.
Okay.
Those with children and the elderly, force. Those with children and the elderly, force, please. Thank you for cooperating and doing this very orderly.
Somebody step down on the rope. Step on it. Step on the rope.
Step on the rope. Those with children and the elderly. Solia, you have a child? You have a child? You have a child? You have a child with you? Allow those with the children to go on first, please. Please. Allow those with the children to go on first. Officers, come on, let's coordinate this. Let's don't get any rush here. Come on. Those with children. Those with children first. The drivers of the school buses in North Leeward, if you're listening to this live, report to Peterborough immediately. Those drivers who are operating public transportation in North Leeward, report to Peterborough playing field immediately. Again, this is not a drill. Those who are driving public transportation, all public transportation, report to Peterborough immediately. Those who are driving public transportation in North Leeward, again, if you're listening this, or if they're not listening, get the message to them. Those driving public transportation in North Leeward, report to Peterborough immediately. I've sent personal messages to persons already. If you haven't heard it, please share the information with them. Let them report to Peterborough immediately. We're taking persons from Peterborough to Chateaubriand Wharf. This is the fast ferry, first time docking here in Chateaubriand. The Jade and Sun is a bit more challenging for this vessel because it's not like the bigger vessels that will put the ramp on so that persons can drive on. In fact, motor vehicles are unable to board this vessel. But those with children, we're getting persons with children out. Those that are disabled and with children. You here with your parent, your mom, right? So, Lemon, you have children? You have a child with you? Alright. We're allowing those, we have other boats coming, So we're allowing those with children to come on first. Let them board first, alright?
And folks, that's the situation out there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the moment, as persons are currently being evacuated. Here in Grenada, there's a meeting currently ongoing, the NEAC, all right, the National Emergency Advisory Committee. They are currently meeting to formalize how Grenada is going to respond to this situation happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines right now. In fact, we were scheduled to have one of the representatives from that meeting to speak with us tonight, mostly about how Grenada is going to be responding. However, as we understand it, that meeting is still happening, and so we are unable to have our representative come on the program tonight, and for that we apologize. We thought it was going to be necessary to get the information from them fresh from the meeting. But as I said, we anticipated that the meeting would have been ended by now, but that is not the case. And one would understand why. This is a very serious situation, and of course all the necessary I's need to be dotted and T's crossed. Now, here, the government of Grenada is reiterating its support for the government and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as they face an increased likelihood of an eruption at the La Soufrière volcano. At a news conference on Thursday, the Vincentian, as you've heard moments ago, Prime Minister announced the exact situation with the volcano. Subsequent to that media briefing, Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell spoke to his Vincentian colleague, assuring him that the government and people of Grenada stand in full solidarity with their brothers and sisters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Dr. Mitchell reaffirmed the country's pledge of 1,600 beds at St. George's University, and that is to accommodate persons who may need to be evacuated. This pledge was initially made in December last year following an emergency meeting of the OECS leaders. The Prime Minister has since spoken to the Chancellor at the St. George's University, who assured him that all systems will be put in place to quickly accommodate evacuees should that need arise. Now, the possible volcanic eruption and resulting potential for the evacuation of residents comes in the midst of the global pandemic, with several countries struggling to reduce the number of new cases while at the same time pushing ahead with vaccination programs. Dr. Mitchell noted that even as Grenada prepares to accept evacuees, protecting the health and safety of Grenadian nationals remain of paramount importance. The Grenadian leader said his Vincentian counterpart has assured him that persons being evacuated will be required to have at the very least their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Additionally, rigorous testing will be undertaken in keeping with Grenada's entry protocols. Evacuees are advised that the process will be coordinated between the government of both countries, with an appropriate transfer mechanism being utilized to transport persons from one mainland to the other. And I know that is one of the concerns that many people had in terms of persons who are leaving St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Have the usual hiccups in the times of...
And will be coming into Grenada. People would like to know what is going to be happening with that. Are persons going to take upon their own and find themselves to Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and then come down to the mainland through one of the ferries or using one of the speedboats. What's going to happen? How are we really going to be responding to that? What can we expect as residents to see? What kind of change? How are the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique in terms of border security? What are they going to be doing? Are we just going to say, you know, come on in and just register your presence and we will do the necessary tests and so on? So, of course, more questions than answers. We will need to know what the protocols are, how we are going to be handling that. All right. But this is still in the very early stages of the evacuation process, and I'm sure as time progresses, some of the questions that we have will be answered either by police or government officials. But this is a serious situation. We have had our own challenges to deal with. We're talking about Hurricane Ivan, and we have asked neighboring countries to assist us when we were down on our knees following Hurricane Ivan and then subsequently Hurricane Emily. And so we have to understand that we have a role to play in being a brother's keeper. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they have not had an eruption in many years. And of course, it will be hard for them. The Prime Minister only, I think it was yesterday or so, spoke about the fact that the government, if things continue, will not be able to pay salaries and so on as it used to. And so they have a lot to deal with. And so we have a responsibility to help in whatever ways that we can. And one will understand, you know, the magnitude of everything, the volcano, and then still the whole issue of the COVID-19. I know that there were some cruise lines who were pledging some sort of support to the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines so that persons will be able to board the vessels and stay on the vessels for a period of time so that they'll be safe. We are not sure as to where they are with that, but we know that it was also mentioned by the St. Vincent, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So it's a lot, and we are going to keep monitoring that situation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're going to be on it. We have colleagues there, like I said, and we do endeavor to have conversations with them and frequent updates so that at least we can know what's taking place there. We are unable to have those conversations right now. Because of obvious reasons, they are occupied. I'm just getting an update now that the government will be having a press conference tomorrow, God's willing. All right, guys? So I'm just getting an update now that the government here, they will be holding a press conference, all right? And there will be another meeting, another NEAC meeting in the morning, God's willing. And again, the NEAC, the National Emergency Advisory Committee. So that's the committee that's meeting now, and we are hearing now that they will be having another meeting tomorrow. Of course, these are all live updates coming in now. The press conference will be later in the day. All right. So I guess as much all the committees will have to discuss their response, and then following that, there will be a press conference. Of course, that we will be bringing to you live here on Mikey Live as well. And of course, if you have people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, listen, send them a text, give them a call, just make sure that everything is okay, show them that you're concerned, because I can only imagine the anxiety. The Prime Minister tonight mentioned that you are not permitted to leave those who are evacuating with your cars and all of that. That's not going to be permitted. And so people have to leave back a lot of their properties and so on. In the event of an explosive eruption, you know that there are a lot of people who will likely lose their property, their life's earnings, and everything that they've worked hard for is likely to go up in, I shouldn't say go up in flames, but to, in one way or the next, be destroyed by magma coming out of the volcano. That's if it's very explosive. There are some people who are asking about livestock, and that's another concern. You know, there are persons in that particular area who do heavy farming, and they are not able to evacuate with those animals. What's going to happen with that? What plan does St. Vincent and the Grenadines have to guarantee the safety of these animals? I don't know if it's worth the risk, but hey, they are living creatures, and we have to try one way or the next, right? And it was only recently we heard from the butchers here in Grenada that they depend on St. Vincent and the Grenadines to a great extent for meat, for animals, so that they can provide meat for Grenadians other than the chicken. You understand? That was one of the butchers who spoke to us, I think it was about a month ago, when they were saying that there's a shortage of livestock in Grenada, and so that they go out to St. Vincent and the Grenadines for that. So if that is affected as well, then you can see how that can trickle down to us here in Grenada as well. Well, God forbid, we don't want that to happen, but we are just analyzing and seeing how this is likely to impact us here in Grenada. So again, we're going to continue to monitor what's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and periodically update you here on Mikey Live. We still have a few things to talk to you about before we wrap up tonight's program. Now, Grenada has two cases of COVID-19. That's right, and that's according to the latest update that we've received from the Ministry of Health. You know, they frequently send out the dashboard, and we are seeing now that there are 2 active cases of the COVID-19. It brings the confirmed total cases to 157, 79 of which has been imported. And of course, in terms of the amount of persons who've been vaccinated with their first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine, that is 10,712. And the number of persons who have been vaccinated with their second dose, that number is 5. We were supposed to receive our COVAX allocation of vaccines yesterday, but we understand that due to some issue with the aircraft that was supposed to bring that was not that did not happen again. But of course, once it happens, we would let you know. And of course, we are moving on. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, boy, he's had some serious words for his teachers out there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He has told the teachers ahead of Monday's reopening of schools that they should have a government-approved COVID-19 vaccine or have been tested for the virus. Otherwise, they will be asked to leave the compound. Gonzalez made an announcement on a radio program VC3 as he continued to defend his government's vaccination or test policy for public sector workers. Now, folks, under the policy, all employees of the central government or statutory entities, you are required or they are required to submit their COVID-19 vaccination report or be tested up to once every 2 weeks for the vaccine. You understand? I'm not making it up. Yeah. Now, he told listeners that on Thursday and Friday, we are asking the teachers across the whole of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the areas where you are from, go to your clinic, take the test. If everybody could take it, fine. You take the test or you take the vaccine. Preferably, you take the vaccine. If all of you go and you take the vaccine, that is fine, Gonzalez said, adding that 331 teachers, or 17% of the nation's educators, have taken the vaccine so far. Yeah. And in addition to that, we're still in St. Vincent. Of course, that's where it's all happening. We're still in St. Vincent. Still in St. Vincent. Now you need to listen to this. The prevailing economic, and I'm still hoping that we can, while we still do this, I'm still hoping that we can get our person from NEAC to join the broadcast from the NEAC meeting. I've sent them the link. And maybe if they are not able to join, well, tomorrow, God's willing, all right? So, yeah. Right. So, as it relates to the economy there, if the prevailing economic situation continues, government may be unable to pay salaries and benefits to its people. That's according to the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I say this with all honesty. The way things are going, in 1 or 2 months, the government may not have the 30 million every month to pay civil servants and to pay the NIS contributions to civil servants. Those who are pensionable, to pay NIS contributions for current and to pay salaries and wages. Gonzalez said. He said that while his government has held things together economically, through all kinds of difficulties, tough times and all, there is now a real pressure that is on. You see, we saw in the first month, in January, revenue collection dropped by 15 million. We recoup in February. Things are even Steven between February this year and February last year, but we recoup because there were a couple of big alien landholding license transactions in Mustique, where we collect for each of those big transactions roughly 17% of the value, and they were very big ones. So he's saying that things are not looking good for them. You understand? So, yeah, boy. Anyway, no. And so that's what's happening in Vincent and the Grenadines. And coming back here at home, we understand that there was a situation, boy, in the Creighton area and surrounding areas like Monjaloo and so, where there was a lot of turbidity in the water, and the people got really frustrated. Some took to social media complaining about the quality of the water there, and NAWASA has responded.
Apologize, NAWASA. National Water and Sewage Authority, NAWASA, apologizes to consumers who received discolored water due to an issue from Creighton Water Storage Tank that serves Creighton, Marion, Monjaloo, Richmond Hill, and surrounding areas in the parish of St. George's. Engineers commenced investigation on Wednesday, April 7, 2021, and sampling of water quality at various locations throughout the network confirmed that NAWASA's disinfection system was not affected. The authority thanks all affected consumers who reached out to our team and assures all that efforts will be made to avoid a reoccurrence in the future.
All right, and that's from NAWASA. And happy-go-lucky, this image on your screen is one that is beautiful. Grenada's first, and of course is supporting members. So Grenada's first Paralympic swimmer, Nai Krishak, will travel tomorrow, Friday, April 9th, 2021, to Texas, where she will compete in a qualifying meet for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. You understand? Well, 2021, right? But you know what I mean. Hello. Congratulations. Listen, they say Nai is of a different breed. They say Nai is as committed as anyone could ever be. They say Nai is great. Nai has a good personality, great spirit, and of course, they're wishing her all the best and have full confidence in her potential. Yeah? Yeah, that's the one in Nai. That's Nai here, right? So, all the best, and yeah, we will keep you posted in terms of her progress as well. Folks, we are not here to stay too long. We're going to take a break and come back. When we return, we'll have for you the weather, and we also have for you the national report. Persons wanted to know whether or not there will be magma coming all the way to Grenada. Grenada is like south, and so it is more likely, ashes and all of that is more likely to affect persons more to the north and northeastern. So we're talking about St. Lucia and those islands up there, Barbados and so on, but not necessarily down in the south where we are located. All right, so just thought we should share that with you as well. So we are taking a break and we'll be back shortly. Don't forget, you can check out our website. That's MikeyLive.com, MikeyLive.com. grenadadistillers.com. Check us out for all the latest updates. You can also follow our page so that when we post something on our page that you will be able to get a live update. It's important that you do that instead of having to come to check all the time. You follow the page, and so once we send an update, you will be notified. So family, we take a break and we'll be back shortly.
Running low on groceries? Why not visit realvalueiga.com and experience our new online shopping platform? Place your order, then go out and enjoy your day to spend more time with friends and family. Free delivery available within select locations or in-store pickup available. Sounds simple, right? It is. Stress less, live more with Real Value IGA online store, where good food begins.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business.
For your education.
For your financial freedom.
For that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
You want a hand sanitizer to do 3 things: kill germs, be gentle, and to go where you go. You can get all of that in our hand sanitizer. Hard on germs, gentle on hands, affordable. Remember, hand sanitizers contain alcohol. Keep away from heat and flames and avoid contact with eyes. Available at retailers island-wide.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, they easy?
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex, or give them a call, 440-1015 or 440-1016, or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
Safe, effective COVID-19 vaccines will offer protection against the virus, helping to prevent death and serious illness. But how do they actually work? Like other vaccines, such as the flu shot, COVID-19 vaccines will be given with a needle. This triggers an immune response in the body, which is the body's natural way of defending itself. The vaccine will strengthen your immune system by training it to recognise and fight against the virus that causes COVID-19. Vaccines may contain either killed or weakened versions of the virus that causes the disease, or a small part of the virus, such as a protein. There is no risk that you will get the disease from a vaccine. When your immune system recognises this virus or parts of it in the vaccine as being foreign, it responds by creating memory cells and antibodies that will protect you against future infection or disease. As a result, you'll be less likely to have severe COVID-19 symptoms after a vaccination.
Are you prepared for the hurricane season? Do you have a plan? Remember, water is essential in any emergency plan. Determine your family's water needs. Ensure your storage containers are food grade and store at minimum 35 gallons of water per person per day for at least 1 week. Understand that your planning may be different this year because of the need to protect yourself and others from COVID-19. Take the necessary actions to ensure that your household has an adequate stored water supply should there be an interruption. Be prepared. NAWASA, committed to meeting customers' needs.
Anywhere at any time and have it delivered to you right here in Grenada at yogo.gd.
Grenada government reiterates pledge to accept Vincentian evacuees should the Soufrière volcano erupt. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. Welcome back with the details to the news for Thursday, April 8th, 2021. I am Rikisha St. Louis. The government of Grenada is reiterating its support for the people and government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as they face an increased likelihood of an eruption at the La Soufrière volcano. At a news conference Thursday, Vincentian Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves confirmed that there has been increased activity at the volcano, specifically a series of low-level seismic tremors. Scientists monitoring the volcano say this could be indicative of fresh magma trying to reach the surface. Subsequent to that media briefing, Grenada's Prime Minister, Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, spoke to his Vincentian colleague, assuring him that the government and people of Grenada stand in full solidarity with their brothers and sisters in St. Vincent. Dr. Mitchell reaffirmed the country's pledge of 1,600 beds at St. George's University to accommodate persons who may need to be evacuated. This pledge was initially made in December last year following an emergency meeting of OECS leaders. The Prime Minister has since spoken to the Chancellor at SGU, who assured him that all systems will be put in place to quickly accommodate evacuees should the need arise. The possible volcanic eruption and resulting potential for the evacuation of residents comes in the midst of the global pandemic, with several countries struggling to reduce the number of new cases, while at the same time pushing ahead with vaccination programs. Dr. Mitchell noted that even as Grenada prepares to accept evacuees, protecting the health and safety of Grenadian nationals remains of paramount importance. The Grenadian leader said his Vincentian counterpart has assured him that persons being evacuated will be required to have, at the very least, their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Additionally, rigorous testing will be undertaken in keeping with Grenada's entry protocols. Evacuees are advised that the process will be coordinated between the governments of both countries, with an appropriate transfer mechanism being utilized to transport persons from one mainland to the other. Other pledges of support have been made to the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but we continue to hope that they are spared an explosive eruption of the La Soufrière volcano. Continuing the news, the director of the National Emergency Management Organization in St. Vincent and the Grenadines says the La Soufrière volcano that has been erupting effusively since December 2020 poses no direct threat to Grenada. During an interview with the Government Information Service, Ms. Michelle Forbes said while the volcanic activities are not new to Vincentians in recent weeks, there has been growing concern in neighboring islands as images are splashed across social media. Forbes says La Soufrière volcano has been giving different signals, with the latest being a swamp or swamps of volcano tectonic earthquakes felt in a number of the communities.
Grenada is more on the southern end. I think the implications will be more for the islands, maybe St. Lucia, Barbados, in terms of the ash. We recall in 1979, ash went as far as Barbados, and of course St. Lucia in the north. It depends on the prevailing wind also. So it's unlikely ash may reach Grenada, but though ash can actually affect aviation movement, especially if any aircraft have to traverse the airspace near to St. Vincent to come to Grenada, they may have to go wider, or it depends on the ash particles within the atmosphere. So that may be the only threat I see now, or hazard that may impact Grenada in terms of the flying arrangements that aircraft will have to fly, because if depends on how high the ash go, that can affect aviation, right? In the region in general.
The Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, SEDIMA, has been playing a pivotal role as the main focal point with regional and international agencies since the alert level was raised to orange. Forbes says the presence of Grenadian Sylvan McIntyre, the former disaster management coordinator at NADMA, to help guide the evacuation process is one of the many areas that SEDIMA has been showing support.
He has had quite a wealth of experience in different countries, not volcanic emergency, but operations in general. And he was deployed to St. Vincent through SEDIMA, through the regional response mechanism, to support us in ensuring that things are ready, that ensuring that we tighten up a few things here and there. So he has been working with us in terms of our evacuation planning, our transportation planning, and all that support is really done through SEDIMA. Meeting with various agencies and just encouraging us and ensuring that we are ready and have things in place that we have been doing all along since December or even before that.
Forbes says there is still uncertainty as to whether or not there will be an explosive eruption. However, if it does, there are serious implications for a number of sectors in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, including agriculture and education.
An explosive eruption means that up to 20,000 persons can be displaced. That's almost 20%. That's really roughly 20% of our population, maybe a little less. Our population just over 100,000, less than 110,000. So it means that's around 20% of our population being displaced and forced basically in the southern part of the country. So there are implications for the education, continued education for our children, and we know it has been a rough year for them already in the education sector. The struggling for resources because, food security implications, because we have that particular area on the flanks of the volcano is a rich animal husbandry, for example, the animals, pigs, cattle, those kind of animals, and also for agriculture plants, the plantains, the bananas, the arrowroot, Sandy and Owe, those areas for the arrowroot and other wood crops. So it will have an implication on the agriculture and food security for sure.
The La Soufrière violently erupted in 1718, 1812, 1902, and 1979. The eruption of May 6, 1902 killed 1,680 people. The last recorded eruption in April 1979 resulted in no casualties due to advanced warning. On Thursday, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said his government has been in contact with friendly nations, including the United States States, Cuba, and Venezuela to discuss possible assistance. He said that Barbados and St. Lucia are willing to receive evacuees, but they will have to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Further, Royal Caribbean has indicated that it could get to St. Vincent by Thursday night, a cruise ship that can house 1,500 persons, who will also have to be vaccinated before they are allowed to occupy the vessel. In addition, the reopening of schools scheduled for next Monday has been suspended until further notice. This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break. Welcome back. 23 Grenadians left the island on Thursday to resume work on Canadian farms as part of the Canada Seasonal Agriculture Workers Program. This follows months of uncertainty due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which forced the countries worldwide to cease programs and projects. Members of the Grenada delegation received the green light for travel after they met all the mandatory requirements, including a negative COVID-19 test. Upon arrival in Canada, they will be quarantined on their farms for 1 week and retested for COVID-19 before they can recommence work. Labour Commissioner Cyrus Griffith says participation in the program is seen as a great opportunity to acquire foreign exchange through remittances from the Grenadian workers.
Guys are able to go to Canada, work, make a living, and get a savings, and able to buy maybe a transport, a bus, build a shop, or do the house over, or whatever it is, to ensure that they're able to look after the family. These guys here, these are requested workers. They have been going for a number of years. And you see one woman there, she has been going over 10 years on the program. We just hope that these guys will do well, continue to do well, and keep the flag flying, right? And we pray God that we won't meet in any accident that the case may be, and just do a good job so next year we continue going.
Under special provisions made through collaboration with the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, the Grenadians are traveling along with colleagues from other member states, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Dominica, via a chartered flight. In this program, workers engage in a wide array of agricultural activities and deal mainly with fruits, vegetables, and tobacco. Their tasks involve cultivating, pruning, spraying, irrigation, fertilization, harvesting, hand thinning, grading, among others. Ronell Julian and Norland Joseph are eager to recommence their stints on their respective farms. They believe the program is a good opportunity for young people.
The opportunity is wonderful. It's a great experience. Encourage a lot of young people to take part in the apple picking. It's not, it's a good work. Once young people see the opportunity, they grab it, and it's a great opportunity for young people. I'd like to thank the Ministry of Labour for getting everything organized.
This is like my third year going, and this time I've been going for like about roughly to 6 to 7 months. So once you stick to like the guidelines and do what you have to do, wear gloves, stay 6 feet apart, it's good. It's not really, I don't really check it as, the risk is there, but once you stick to the guidelines and do what you have to do, you'll be safe.
The Canada Seasonal Agriculture Workers Program, which began in 1976, falls under the umbrella of the Canada Temporary Foreign Workers Program. It is coordinated by the Eastern Caribbean Liaison Service in collaboration with the OECS Ministries of Labour and the Canadian government. Finally, in the news, $5,500 worth of healthcare equipment were handed over to the parliamentary representative for St. John, Honorable Alvin Dabrio, on Wednesday. The equipment was presented to the Guav Polyclinic through the effort of the Citizens Group in the United Arab Emirates and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Business and CARICOM Affairs. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Roxy McLeish Hutchinson, presented the equipment on behalf of Foreign Affairs Minister Honorable Oliver Joseph. She said this is part of the ministry's resource mobilization initiative.
We have been able as a ministry
to secure these equipment here, which you can see we have emergency trolleys, we have wheelchairs, and we also have some dental equipment to facilitate the conducting of x-ray. And so the kind donation of one of our citizens in the UAE who has seen his fit to make that contribution to the constituency of St. John. And so we want to acknowledge today the donation from Mr. Ejil Abbas, the owner of Skin and Teeth Medical Center in the UAE, who has, through communication with Minister Dabrio and our Consul General in Dubai, made this donation to the tune of $5,500 to the constituency of Guav for work in the newly built facility. So, Minister Dabrio, it is my pleasure today on behalf of Minister Joseph and the team at the ministry to present to you these equipment to the tune of $5,500 from our citizens group in the United Arab Emirates to you as the parliamentary representative for St. John.
Minister Dabrio expressed his appreciation for the contribution. He is confident it will help improve healthcare services in the constituency.
Thank you, PS, for what you did in making sure that we receive these generous donations from Mr. Abbas through the Grenadian Consulate in Dubai. On behalf of the people of St. John, St. Mark, St. Patrick, the whole Western Division, we are very grateful for this generous donation. We would put it to use because it would go a long way into improving the health care of us in these areas.
That story just ended the national report for today, Thursday, April 8th. Recapping the top story. Grenada government reiterates pledge to accept Vincentian evacuees should the Soufrière volcano erupt. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
All right, thank you very much. All right, and the entire team at the GIS, all the best to you guys. All right. Okay, and so we need to tell you what the weather is going to be like for today. Well, for tonight, partly cloudy with few light to moderate nighttime showers, and the minimum temperature for tonight is expected to be within the vicinity of 25 degrees Celsius. Winds easterly to southeasterly at 10 to 20 miles per hour, becoming variable to calm at times. Seas slight to moderate with waves 2 to 4 feet in open waters. And that is, my friends, your weather report for tonight. And before we wrap, let's say hello to Adonna, Zaka, Rachel, and Cynthia, Kireen, and Kimo, Hazel, and Unique, Cassie, and Rolander, Esther, and Angel, Talia, and Celine, and Maureen, Josephine, and Ezran, and Shireen, and Mom, and Linton, Irina, Jennifer, and Shireen again, and Anna, all the folks, hey, Joycelyn and Martha. I see that there's a lot of people from St. Vincent tuned in. Well, thank you for watching and be safe out there, guys. Be safe. Joyous and Patricia and Raquel, thanks for watching. And Gemma and Kevin and Shari. Hey, Shari, what's happening? Good to see you on. And Raven and Cece and Barbara and Laureen and Esther and Kireen and Trisha, Michelle and Karina, thanks for watching. Patsy, I see that you're there as well, and Jason, and all the Michelles who are there. So thanks again, and those of you who are on the program, you're not saying anything, you're just a silent viewer. We appreciate your company all the time as well. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more updates for you tomorrow, God's willing. May God richly bless you and your family. All right, Teresa, I see that you're there as well, and Charlene, Atalia, I see you present. Selma, I see you present too. So guys, all the best, and yeah boy, we will touch base tomorrow, God's willing. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we all say ja, no, all the best.